Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Fighting to preserve the soul of the Republic. That's what Liberty Counsel is doing. That's our mission, to restore and advance religious freedom, life, and family through litigation, education, and through public policy. We have now a 6-page packed information, end of the year liberator we want you to receive. You can go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, and ask for it, or call 800-671-1776. We've talked about some of the issues that we've been involved with in 2012 regarding religious freedom. Today, Matt Barber and I are going to talk about the issues of the sanctity of human life with regards to the litigation aspect. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, and Matt Barber is vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Let's move, Matt, to the issue of the sanctity of human life. And this is just a sampling of some of the litigation that we've been involved with in 2012.
Yeah, well, the big one, of course, again, is Obamacare, the HHS mandate, the abortion mandate that is unequivocally in Obamacare, federal taxpayer funding. You and I and everyone else has to pay for abortions via Obamacare. We're challenging that in federal court. We fired Liberty Counsel, the opening salvo. We were the first, correct? To
yeah,
file
the very first private suit.
Yeah.
There were 3 suits filed on March 23, 2010, Virginia from the state perspective, Florida, the different states, and then our case, Liberty University versus Geithner, first private lawsuit. And so it went all the way through the Court of Appeals, all the way up to the Supreme Court, and it looked like that was the end of it. But we filed a petition for the court to rehear it. They reversed their position and ultimately directed the Court of Appeals to rehear our case. Shocking many people around the country. It was the number one news story all over the country in all the media, major and minor media, that Liberty Counsel's case, Liberty University versus Geithner, is going back to the Court of Appeals. That's significant because if the court did not want to hear about Obamacare anymore, they could have simply said no.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a majority of justices that are not through with Obamacare. So our case is going back to the Court of Appeals, and then from there could go likely back to the U.S. Supreme Court as early as 2013.
Well, and this Obama administration, Matt, has shown overt hostility toward life, toward freedom of conscience, and through their abuse, really, of freedom of conscience with Obamacare. That is, this is the last best hope. Our case is the last line of defense against Obamacare and against the encroachment on freedom of religious expression and freedom of conscience. Now, talking about this overt hostility, I can't talk about this case without smiling from ear to ear. We whipped up on the U.S. Attorney General's office, Eric Holder, for a politically motivated lawsuit.
This is Eric Holder and the Department of Justice filed suit against Susan Pine. She's a lady down in South Florida, had an abortion over 20 years ago, and she goes in front of this abortion clinic to give information to save lives and to protect the women who ultimately will destroy their lives as well. So the Attorney General, shortly after the election of 2008, 2009, decided to file these lawsuits against all these pro-lifers using the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances law, and our lawsuit saying that she was a danger and they needed an immediate injunction against her for something she allegedly did a year before.
That she didn't even do.
Which she didn't do, which there was no evidence of.
Right.
That they actually tried to intimidate her, and they wanted $10,000 in fines as well, and an injunction because of her danger. So we said from the very beginning that this was politically motivated. The good news is we litigated this thing, showed that they had no evidence. The judge earlier in 2012 tossed their case out, chastised them, and said, I don't know why you even brought this. This looks like you were in a conspiracy with the abortion clinic. And then ultimately the Department of Justice had to pay over $120,000 to Liberty Counsel for this frivolous lawsuit.
So they tried to send a shot over the bow, very closely over the bow, of pro-life advocates and protesters and peaceful protesters, but instead this judge, I couldn't believe the judge's ruling, turned it back on them and fired a direct shot through their helm and sunk the U.S. Attorney General's ship here. It backfired big time.
It not only got dismissed, they not only got chastised, but they had to pay $120,000.
And accused of conspiracy.
And accused of conspiring with the abortion clinic. This is the radical ideological Obama administration and the Attorney General, and they got slammed on this case.
Matt, the Mississippi Personhood Amendment, we had some ups and some downs. One of the ups was when we successfully defended the Personhood Amendment in state Supreme Court against, again, the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, and so forth.
That's right. Well, and we actually got it on the ballot. We won that case at the Mississippi Supreme Court against the ACLU. The ballot initiative continued to proceed. We got it on the ballot, but it didn't ultimately pass. The money from the abortion industries began to give misinformation and scare tactics, and it didn't pass in Mississippi. But I can tell you what, it's not done. As a result of that, we have now partnered with Personhood USA around the country, and we are the Personhood USA legal counsel now for all the personhood initiatives in the country. We also defended the Oklahoma Personhood Amendment against Planned Parenthood, and I can tell you what, we're not stopping. Personhood USA is not stopping until we ultimately continue to protect and have protection for the individuals from the moment of conception through natural death.
Now, Matt, Ancrum v. State of Alabama, what was that case all about?
That's a big case with regards to the issue of abortion, and we filed a significant brief in that case at the Alabama Supreme Court, and they ultimately came back, and in our brief we went through the whole history of life throughout the development of law throughout history, even in the early common law era, how life was recognized and protected in the womb. And it's a very significant brief. We have done original research in there, historical research. That ultimately formed the basis of what the court ultimately did in this particular case. And they ultimately said that the unborn children in utero have rights and that you have to protect these children in utero. So this was a significant step. It's not a case that bans abortion, but it is a huge foundation that ultimately recognizes the humanity of a child in the womb and that an injury to that child through, for example, taking drugs, ultimately is a real injury to that child, a human being.
And we've been down this path in our shameful portions of our history, our U.S. history, with the Dred Scott decision, with people being treated, African Americans, as not full persons. Doesn't this directly align on a parallel with that?
It does. It does. You know, you got to build this house one brick at a time. And this is a big brick in that house. I mean, we got the highest court of the state. Actually, what this involved was it was a chemical endangerment for the unborn child, and it was drugs ultimately injuring the child in utero.
Right.
And because of the law that had developed, and because of our brief, and because of the decision that came out of here, now you have a recognition that an injury inside the uterus before this child is born is an injury to a human being, and that injury can be compensable. So this is a significant foundational step as we move to develop the humanity of the unborn child and provide legal protections for the children in the womb.
And we took a similar information into Arizona as well, didn't we, with an amicus brief?
We did, yeah. In Arizona, they had a law that bans abortion after 20 weeks. And, of course, the pro-abortionists, they filed suit against that. They don't want abortion banned even after 20 weeks. It really shows how radical they really are, how pro-death they really are. We're talking about 20 weeks. So we're into the second trimester, almost moving into the third trimester. The law bans abortion after 20 weeks. Our brief overviews, again, we use some of the research from Alabama, the legal and historical evidence that children in the womb are human beings and they must be afforded legal protection. We're still waiting on the ruling on that. It hasn't come down yet, but that ruling will come down sometime in 2013.
Well, Matt, we're winning this battle, aren't we, on life, and Liberty Counsel has played no small part in that battle. I am so blessed. Every day I have to pinch myself. I'm so blessed to be part of this ministry and defending the rights of freedom of life, obviously, because without life, there are no other rights.
The right to life is the right of all rights. The right of property or even freedom of religion means nothing if you're dead. So the right to life is the right of all rights, and that's why it's so important that we reestablish the right to life, not only as a right, but as a basic understanding of that we are created in the image of God. This is a blight on America that we ultimately need to turn the chapter, and the quicker we do that and repent of that sin that we have done to kill our unborn children, the better for America. Continue to stand with Liberty Counsel. Thank you for your prayers and financial support. This is a very major month for Liberty Counsel, the December end of the year month. We want you to learn more about Liberty Counsel. Ask for the Liberator, and you can get the year-end Liberator, too, if you're not already on the mailing list. If you are on the mailing list, you're getting all this information. Go to lc.org, sign up for the Liberator, and remember us right there on the website with your year-end contributions. Go to lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.